I love you when you're doing for me type of situation. But when they weren't, she would disrespect them, embarrass them, and all kind of stuff. Right? And so I witnessed that growing up. It was very transactional. And let's not even talk about the friends that I had kept around me at that time. Right? There were these women, they were very materialistic. They were very superficial. I should have known at that time, but once again, I wasn't awakened. And so they would always comment about how well my sister was doing, about her lifestyle and blah, blah, blah. And which, granted, she was doing well for herself. I'm not a hater, right? And it was at a time in my life where I was struggling. I was going through things. And they would just constantly, every time like we linked up, they asking about my sister. How's your sister doing? Oh, I saw her on Instagram. She just went on a vacation. She just went on a cruise. Blah, 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 blah. It's giving pocket watching, right? They were low-key fans. But Spirit showed me this was also attack. It's giving the energy of favoritism. It's giving humiliation spells, right? But these people are so sly the way that they do it. So you know how you have a parent and they're creating favoritism. Okay? So they're always talking about the one child, how well they're doing, how beautiful they're doing, blah, 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 all of that good stuff, right? And then the other child is over here and they're suffering because it's like, well, what about me? And so this would happen with my friends. I'm like, you're my friend, but every time we link up, you talking about my sister, how well she's doing. And
all day long at school is how great Marcia is at this, or how wonderful Marcia did that. Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
Da 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 da. Right? And once again, I'm not a hater. I could acknowledge that, yeah, she was doing good, but it just seemed very weird to me. I'm like, why are y'all always bringing up my sister? Spirit said that was an attack. They were trying to create an energy of favoritism. They were trying to create an energy of lack to make you feel less than. Understand that. Spirit said, you are living in the midst of a zombie apocalypse. Okay? So you can no longer be ignorant to this fact. You can no longer close your eyes. Okay? You can no longer turn a blind eye to these things that are happening. Spirit said, you're not crazy, you're under attack. Let me repeat that. Spirit said, you were never crazy, you were under attack. Okay? Yes, you can be gaslit by family the same way you can by lovers. Yes, you can be gaslit by friends and coworkers the same way that you were by others. They make you think that you're crazy when you know what you know. You feel what you feel. Spirit said, don't turn a blind eye to that anymore. Lean into that. Because it's going to help you see through people. You need to see through people. You need to see who's alive and who's dead. Now Spirit is bringing up Lazarus. Okay? Once again, Yeshua had to go to hell to retrieve him, to bring him back to life. That is you. Okay? I'm hearing once you tap into that Christ consciousness, that is you going into hell and saving yourself. Thank you, Spirit. That brings me to the next point. Spirit said, you're not responsible for saving anyone. You're not responsible for saving your family. You're not responsible for saving your spouse. You're not responsible for saving your friends. You're not responsible for saving your children. You're not responsible. So Spirit said, let go of that burden. That was a deception. Jesus ain't coming to save the world. You got to save yourself. It's by you awakening, you resurrecting, understanding who you are and where you are. I'm reading from John chapter 11, starting with verse 17. It said, on his arrival, Jesus found that Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Now Bethany was less than 2 miles from Jerusalem, and many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them in the loss of their brother. When Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she sent out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. "Lord," Martha said to Jesus, "if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now, God will give you whatever you ask." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha answered, "I know he'll rise again in the resurrection at the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die. Do you believe this?" "Yes, Lord," she said. "I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, who is to come into the world." After she said this, she went back and called her sister Mary aside. "The teacher is here," she said, "and is asking for you." When Mary heard this, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not entered the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. When the Jews who had been with Mary in the house, comforting her, noticed how quickly she got up and went out, they followed her, supposing she was going to the tomb to mourn there. When Mary reached the place where Jesus was and saw him, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who had come along with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. "Where have you laid him?" he asked. "Come and see, Lord," they replied. Jesus wept. Then the Jews said, "See how he loved him?" But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Chapter 11, verse 38. Chapter 11, verse 38. Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. Jesus, once more deeply moved, came to the tomb. It was a cave with the stone laid across the entrance. "Take away the stone," he said. "But Lord," said Martha, the sister of the dead man, "by this time there is a bad odor, for he has been there 4 days." Then Jesus said, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. Then Jesus looked up and said, "Father, I thank you that you have heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I said this for the benefit of the people standing here, that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, Jesus called in a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out." The dead man came out, his hands and feet wrapped with strips of linen and a cloth around his face. Jesus said to them, "Take off the grave clothes and let him go." Now the next verse Spirit wants me to read is 1 Thessalonians 4:16 through 18. It describes the second coming of Jesus, where he descends from heaven with the loud command, voice of an archangel, and God's trumpet. The dead in Christ rise first, followed by living believers being caught up, raptured, together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord, ensuring they are with him forever. It says, "For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with the cry of command, with the voice of an archangel, and with the sound of the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first." So once again, the dead in Christ will rise first. This is you awakening, my love. When they talk about the Lord descending, understand God is everything. God is already here. That is a deception. You're not waiting for nothing to come out the sky. It's all inside of you. This is the awakening of yourself, of you remembering that you are always with God because you are God. God has always been here. God never left, like they told you in the Garden of Eden, like God just left the earth. God is the earth. God is you. God is me. God ain't go nowhere. But you know what did? Your knowing of who you are. So you're returning to yourself. You're awakening. You're being resurrected. And when I say, I literally had to get out some ice because this phone got so hot. But I said, listen, this message is getting through. Okay? So I literally have my phone sitting on an ice tray right now. But God said, you are resurrecting. Understand that Christ is a consciousness. Okay? So when it talks about us rising, when it talks about the dead in Christ will rise first, once again, that's you awakening your consciousness. Okay? We were all dead in spirit because we forgot our connection to God. We forgot that we are God. We forgot that we are the creators of our reality. And so this is the awakening. It's a resurrection. It's a resurrection. And this is where Christ died on the cross. Spirit just wants me to touch on that lightly. Understand that what they put him through were humiliation spells. What he went through was an initiation. All of those parables, those were initiations. The same ones that you're going through, go and read the parables. You will see your life. You've had to go through all of those things. It was speaking of the initiation into priesthood, into Christhood. And after he had gone through all of those initiations, after he took the journey, then he had to die and be resurrected. Okay? So that is you. You're being resurrected right now. But understand, it says, God forgive them for they know not what they do. Yes, because they're dead. They're dead. So understand that. Don't take it personal, but open up your eyes. I love you. Because they are wearing a disguise. As your family, as your lovers, as your friends, as your teachers and your co-workers, sometimes even as your spiritual gurus. Be careful. Okay? Make sure that you tap in with your spirit. I don't care how long they've been on their journey. Okay? You shouldn't be putting any other guides before you. Okay? And sometimes that comes in the form of gurus, of spiritual teachers. It doesn't matter how long they've been teaching in this life. Understand, you're an ancient soul. The souls I'm speaking to. You're an ancient soul. You're an ascended master. You've done this before many times. So you know more than you think you know. They're actually just confirming. They're helping you remember what you already know. That's why you're aligning with it, because you already know it in your soul. They're not teaching you anything. So once again, you've been informed. You can't go back to sleep after this. And it's not to scare you. It's to make you aware. It's to make you aware and to also help you understand that you are seen and you're not crazy. All of the chosen ones have gone through these trials and tribulations. Because once again, you're a light in the midst of darkness. You are Constantine. So don't be surprised when you attract darkness as well as light, because they can smell you. And I love you. I'll talk to you again soon.